Hello, I'm Mike Gottfried. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Today, I want to talk about something that's very dear to my heart. I met a man named Tom Arington sometime after 2008-9, right in there. Tom Arington is a businessman. He owns Prasco and Aprecia, two companies, and doing very well. And I went down to see him, and he was speaking to a group of athletes. And I was listening, taking notes. And Tom Arington said this statement. He said, "Some days you win, and some days you lose." And I was thinking about that. As a player and a coach, I always took losing really hard, because I thought it was a missed opportunity. But on this day, when he said the rest of that, I finally got it. I may not have been in coaching, but it's helped me with young people, mentoring them. But what he came back with, he said, "Some days you win, some days you lose." He said, "Really, that's not true." And then he went on to say what it should say: some days you win and some days you learn. See, losing, you have to learn something from that loss to make sure you don't make the same mistakes next time. Well, I want to tell you a funny story. It wasn't funny back in 1965. But in 1965, I was the co-captain of our football team at Morehead State. And we're playing at Western Kentucky late in the season. And we're not having a great year. Western Kentucky's about a little bit above average and better, probably. On this day, we're playing in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And we came out to warm up, and we're on one side warming up, and Western Kentucky ran right through us, which teams usually didn't do. And a couple of them stopped at my spot where I was out in front of the leading calisthenics of our team. And one or two of them stopped by me to give them my best, or give them their best. And they said, "You're going to have a rotten day today." And but more than that, more graphic than that. So I thought, what the heck is going on here? But so I said, we got to beat these guys. Well, in the first half, I had a bad first half. I threw 4 interceptions. Now that means I threw it to the wrong team, which I had a ability to do sometimes, but trying to make something happen. So I learned a little bit later, you don't force too many things. So at halftime, and every time I'd come off the field, nobody would speak to me. Not the players, not the coaches, not the trainers, not the managers, no one. So I just kind of went by myself. And our defense was really good. And they held Western Kentucky, even though we had 4 turnovers by me. They held Western Kentucky to a 3-0 lead at halftime. So at halftime, I'm trying to get this all together, put it behind me, and go back out there and change the results of the first half. As I went out for the second half, I'm peeling an orange and eating the orange, and I'm starting to talk to myself. I said, Mike, you got to do better. I'm trying. And I'd answer myself, nobody's coaching me. Nobody's talking to me. So I'm trying to figure it out on my own, which is dangerous. So we went back on the field, and I quickly threw a 5th interception. Now I'm headed toward the league, or the rule, let's see.
Headed towards the
record. I'm leading toward the record in college football. Back then it was 7. And I'm thinking to myself, boy, this is not good. And I threw that 5th, and our defense responded, they punted. So now I'm going back on the field. So I quickly threw a 6th. Now I'm 1 away from the record. And as I come off the field, I knelt down, and I'll never forget this. I knelt down on my right knee, unbuckled my helmet, and thought to myself, boy, I never thought I'd say this, but they need to take me out. And so out of the corner of my eye, I saw Coach coming down, Coach Earl Bentley, who I loved. He was like a second father to me. And he stopped behind me, and he put his hand on my right shoulder. And I leaned up to him, and I looked at him. I said, Coach, I never thought I'd ever say this, but you need to take me out. I don't have it today. Well, he didn't answer right away. Maybe 30 seconds. I thought it seemed like 30 minutes. I'm waiting for somebody to tell me something that's going to help me. And Coach Bentley said these words. He said, Mike, if we had anybody else, you'd have been out a long time ago. And so that wasn't the confidence I was looking for. But he patted me on the back like everything's going to be all right. I went back out and threw a 7th interception, went in the record book, which is not good. And then late in the game, we had the ball in our own 5 or 10 yard line. And we have 90 yards to go, 95. And I threw a little swing pass where the back out of the backfield runs a little round route. And I threw in the ball, and Tommy Gray from Birmingham, Alabama, ran 95 yards and bailed me out, and we won the game 7-3. I was so happy for Tommy, but I was happy for myself too, because now I'm in the record book, but we won the game. Now, fast forward 20 years, about 20 years. 1987 or 88, I can't remember which. We're playing West Virginia. I'm the head coach at Pittsburgh. We're 5-0, they're 5-0. They're ranked 3 in the country, we're about 8th in the country. We're playing on ESPN national television at West Virginia. West Virginia fans do not like the Pitt team or the fans. And vice versa, probably, because it's a great rivalry. I had so much respect for West Virginia and Don Nehlen and his players. And I believe they had respect for Pittsburgh and the players. And we're playing on national TV. The game starts. We're all ready to go. And at halftime, somewhere around, we're down 28 or 32 to nothing. And so I went in the locker room and I said, listen, hey, only thing you can tell a team when you're down that bad is, hey, we got to relax. Play like we're playing in the backyard on Thanksgiving Day. Lose fun. Let's have fun. Let's go out and throw everything out the back that's happened so far. Let's start anew. We went out, and Alex Van Pelt was our quarterback. He had thrown 2 or 3 interceptions in the first half. And he quickly threw another one in the second half. And the coach in my headset said, Mike, get him out. He doesn't have it today. So I said, I'm going to talk to him. So I brought Alex over. I said, Alex, come here. I said, you think I'm going to take you out, right? He said, Coach, please. I'm from West Virginia. I'm stinking the place up. Take me out. I don't have it. I said, nah, I'm not going to take you out. I said, some days you win, some days you learn. And I'm going to learn from this. And Alex looked at me kind of dumbfounded, and I said, Alex, you know why I'm not going to take you out? He said, no, Coach, tell me why. I said, because back in 1965, now I can see him looking like he's back in 1965. I said, in 1965, I was a quarterback at Morehead State. And I went in the record book with 7 interceptions at that time. And I think you have a chance to take me out of the record book, the way you're playing. And so he looked at me like, this coach has lost his mind. But he went back in, and you know the interesting thing about that game, we ended up tying the game with Eddie Frazier kicking the field goal with 6 seconds to go. So when you hear the story, some days you win, some days you lose, that's really not accurate. Tom Arington's right, and a great man. Some days you win, and some days you learn. You learn from the losses, you learn from the bad days, you learn from the mistakes, you learn from your offenses, you learn from everything, and then you change, and then you repent. Thank you. It's been a joy being here.
Thanks again for tuning in. To learn more, visit www.teamfocususa.org. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great content. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and like us on Facebook.